Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about Frogman.
Frogman!
Which is a found footage horror movie.
Down, walking through the swamp. Frogman!
What Jack said. It's a found footage horror movie directed by Anthony Cousins, I believe is his name, who I mainly know as having done some segments of those scare package movies on Shudder. As far as I'm aware, this is the only feature film he's done. If I am wrong about that, I apologize. And this movie is about three friends, Dallas, Amy, and Scotty, as they go on a road trip to Loveland, Ohio, in search of the ever-elusive Loveland Frogman.
Frogman! Hippity up and down.
And if you're wondering what the fuck is a Loveland Frogman, it is a cryptid that has apparently been seen around Loveland County in Ohio. A 4-foot-tall frog that can apparently make sparks fly. Some say it's because he's got a magic wand. Others say he's just got wizard powers. That's the legend. That's the Frogman.
Some say he's just funky.
Some theorize...
Frogman! He's funky.
Exactly. Some say he's a wizard. Some say he's an alien. Who the fuck knows? This movie goes to explore that. But it is a found footage horror movie. It is not an actual documentary. It is a fictionalized tale of these kids and their adventure into Frogland territory.
At first, we kind of watched this movie daring ourselves to watch it.
Yes, because last year there was a couple movies that came out that got similar buzz to this one. One of them was called Outwaters, which was a found footage movie about a group of friends going into the desert, though in their case, they were filming stuff for, I think, a music video, and weird shit happening. And the other one was Skinamarink, which is not a found footage movie, but is kind of found footage adjacent because of the weird analog horror element to it.
Yeah.
Both those movies were kind of disappointing for us in different ways. Outwaters way more so.
Outwaters way
because at least Skinamarink, like, the experiment was interesting.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't think the movie worked for me.
Yeah, it was trying something. It was like they had an idea. They were like, what if we tried this? Would that work?
Exactly. Whereas Outwaters, you get to the end of the movie and you feel like you're just being teased the whole time.
Yeah, you're just sort of like, you're not going to show me anything.
No.
I'm literally watching a blank screen for minutes at a time. It felt like fucking forever.
It is not a movie that, in my opinion, delivers on its promise.
No.
To be completely honest, some of my friends that love those other two movies were really talking about this movie a lot, so the connection in my head between this movie and those two movies was made right away. So we went into this movie daring ourselves, expecting complete garbage, and much to our surprise, it actually delivered. It is a found footage movie. It takes a good an hour before it really kicks into gear.
Yeah, but I was amazed at how much the first two acts kind of like were okay. At no point did I go, well, this is just a load of fucking horse shit.
No. First two acts, there's two main things driving it that makes it work. The first one is the characters and their relationships.
Yeah.
You have Dallas, this guy who's obsessed with finding the Frogman because when he was a kid, he stumbled across the Frogman in the woods and caught it on tape. And for years, people have told him that it was faked and that he lied about that. And so he's set out to prove he did see the Frogman, that it is real. So he wants to go capture it again. His friend Amy, who he at one point had a thing with, but now they're just friends. But he obviously still has some pent-up feelings for Amy. But Amy's gonna move to Los Angeles in like a week. So this is like their last chance to have like a fun friend road trip together.
Yeah, because apparently like when they were kids, they would make like little movies together and stuff like that.
So this is their last chance to do something together before she moves on and starts her new life in Los Angeles. And then there's Scotty, which is the best friend to both of them, is basically just going along because Dallas needs a cameraman so that he and Amy can be in front of the camera. The three of them have obviously been friends since they were really little kids.
Yeah.
The dynamics that make the beginning of this movie work is you have Dallas desperately wanting to find the Frogman, but his friends just want to have a good time with their friend.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, ain't no fucking Frogman. What's wrong with you?
Who cares about the Frogman? Amy's gonna go in a fucking week. Let's make this a fun road trip and have a good time together. And so you have this like tension between Dallas and the rest of his friends. But there's also like the romantic tension between him and Amy.
Yeah.
Basically, it's one of those, if you just told me you loved me, we'd be together. But because you can't say it out loud, I'm just gonna assume you're not interested.
Yeah.
And so you're watching the characters struggle with that. And then the other thing that makes the beginning of this movie really work is it kind of operates almost like Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yes.
These characters enter this town where they're obviously outsiders.
Yeah.
And there's some deep, dark secret hidden under the surface that they're trying to uncover, but everyone is getting in the way of them uncovering it. So it just keeps getting weirder and more intriguing. What is this town hiding? What's going on here? Is it Frogman or is it something else?
Yeah, because, like, the townspeople are really bad at not looking suspicious.
And then trust me when I say the last act of this movie goes insane. It reminds me a lot of like VHS segments,
Yes.
like Ratma.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if
it
you-
reminded me a lot of
If you like
segment.
the Ratma segment of VHS, you're going to love the last 30 minutes of this movie when this movie goes insane. Unlike, say, a movie like, say, Evidence, everything that happens at the end of this movie is set up at the beginning. It is a natural extension of everything that's been built up up to this point. It's not just random shit for the sake of random shit.
Right. Yeah, everything's set up or foreshadowed.
All the questions and mysteries are answered and come together.
Yeah.
In an insane finale. And I can't stress that enough. It's fucking insane. And it's insane in a way that I think Outwaters was going for, but because of the way they chose to film Outwaters, you don't really get to see or experience the insanity. You just hear it.
Yeah.
This you get to see it.
Yeah, this you get to see it, and the thing that's really good about it is the movie's not afraid to get goofy.
Mm-hmm.
It 100% just goes, yeah, we'll just do all of it.
Oh, absolutely. Unlike something like, say, like a Blair Witch, which is trying to be super raw and real.
Yeah.
This movie is far more willing to be like, all right, here's something super ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we're going to make you buy it. Which reminds me a lot of VHS segments.
Yes.
100%. Because VHS segments will always go super over the top.
Kids vs. Aliens.
Yeah, that's a great one.
You know?
The ones I kept thinking of, Ratmel was one. The one with like the collapsing like news studio where they go.
Oh, yeah.
That one also came to
where
mind.
they find the Mayan temple and
Yeah.
like the god of death is there.
Yeah, that's the kind of level of insanity that this slowly devolves into. You start off with an earthquake, this news crew, and then slowly descends until you're in like the sacred Mayan temple and this death god.
They enter Michalec.
That's the level of insanity that this movie goes.
That segment had more of a budget.
Yeah.
I'll say this is a very low budget film.
Oh, that is true. This movie was obviously done on a very minuscule budget. Something I appreciated with this movie, it's very obvious that they were operating with like the kind of equipment that these people would actually have.
Yes.
A lot of found footage movies these days will like try to pretend like this is shot on the cuff, but it's very obvious that like someone's got like a lapel mic on somewhere because you're getting perfect audio out of them.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie, everything is obviously captured in the camera, and if someone's far away from the camera, they do not sound very clear.
Yeah, it's a little more like Blair Witch that way.
Exactly.
You know?
It feels very raw and real, which kind of sells the insanity more because it feels more real.
Yeah.
But without going full Outwaters where you're not seeing anything.
Correct. Oh, I hated that movie.
This movie goes all the fucking way. It gives you the full reach around hand job.
It's a little skeevy, doesn't have all the lights on because you don't want that.
Yep.
Yeah, it does deliver.
It does.
It does.
You get what you paid for and more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure you were going to actually do it, movie.
But you did.
But you did. Bravo.
Frogman is currently available to rent on various streaming platforms. I highly recommend you do. This movie is a true gem. I feel like this movie deserves all of the press that Skinamarink and Outwaters got last year. I think this movie's better than both those movies and deserves all the praise that those movies got. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, let us move on to the spoiler section so we can talk about exactly how this movie goes insane in the last act.
Yeah, if you're like, well, is there Frogman in this movie? Yes.
Okay, so yes, Frogman is real. But more than that, Frogman also has magic fucking powers.
Yeah, he has straight up magical powers and a magic wand.
Yes, and the magic wand, it sparks like in the myth, the cryptid legend. Also, it can like mind control people.
Yeah.
And like manipulate people and make them see things.
Yeah.
Which causes characters to like lose themselves by the end of this movie and get lured and manipulated into what turns out to be a fucking cult. Apparently, this entire town has been perpetuating the myth of Frogman while also worshiping the reality of Frogman.
Yeah.
The myth of Frogman brings money into the town because it's a tourist trap. But the reality of Frogman is a fucking like eldritch god thing.
Yeah.
That lives in their town that they worship and they essentially give women to breed with. So poor Amy, some bad things are going to happen to Amy if they
things don't go well for her.
If they don't save Amy by the end of this movie. There's also like a missing person at one point in this movie that turns out was given to Frogman. So the last act of this movie is these characters, like they're diving deep into the tunnels underneath the fucking town, into the fucking shrine of the fucking Frogman, seeing all the half Frogman, half people babies that it is fucking spawned, and all the women that it has captured and covered in like goop, as well as all the cult that worships them, which is basically all the characters they've encountered up to this point.
Yeah.
With the exception of the old man with the missing daughter, who turns out to have been part of the cult and is now against the cult because this daughter was taken.
It's that total Innsmouth thing where like one of the
100%.
locals spills the beans.
Frogman's Dagon in this, basically.
Yeah.
Frogman's just straight up Dagon. It's so fucking Lovecraftian. Like the moment you meet that old lady that runs the hotel they're in, like I kept thinking of like In the Mouth of Madness.
Yes. Oh, what?
Yeah. Exactly. Like I keep expecting like her husband to be like chained underneath her desk.
Exactly. You know, because like I said, like the townspeople can't not be suspicious.
Mm-hmm. In terms of other spoilers, we're not quite sure what Scotty's true fate is because he was turning into a frogman, half frog monster after he got like gooped.
Yeah.
And so Scotty don't make it. He's either dead or he's turned into a frogman and is now one of the worshippers or one of Frogman's children. I don't know what you fucking call the half frog people.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call them. But Dallas does escape with Amy, but Amy is so perpetually traumatized they never speak again, according to the text at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm going to LA. I ain't talking to you ever again. Fuck this.
Dallas did get his proof of Frogman, but according to the text, no one believed it either. So
yeah, because why would you?
It was all in vain. He lost his best friend, and his relationship to the love of his life is fucking severed forever. And that's Frogman. There's not too much to fucking explore here because first hour of the movie is these characters, like you learn their interactions, you get the Shadow over Innsmouth kind of mystery going on.
Yeah.
And then the last act of the movie is the descent into the temple.
Yeah, it's a funhouse ride movie.
And the escape out of the temple.
Yeah.
There is a great moment where the main characters get like the wand.
Yes.
Which is fucking great.
I was amazed that they put the wand in. I was like, there is no way they're gonna keep the magic wand.
That's part of what I think is so glorious about the finale of this movie is that it doesn't just have the Frogman be real.
Right.
Like, that would have been fine.
Yeah, that'd have been enough.
But what makes this movie go over the top is that it commits to some of the most absurd Frogman theories.
Yes.
The most absurd aspects of the legend. And just goes for it.
Yeah. It would be like if you did a movie about like Azathoth and he really did like have a tentacle in the center of him that just plays a flute.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you'd just be like, what the fuck?
Exactly. I will say this though, Frogman for most of this movie, every time he showed up, I kept thinking like he looked like the Final Fantasy monster. Was it the
Tomberry?
The Tomberry.
Yeah, he looked like the Tomberry.
He looked like the Tomberry.
Yeah.
I kept expecting him to like stab them and then like 9999 was gonna appear on screen. It didn't help that the wand kind of looked like he had a little knife.
Yeah. I still can't believe they actually did that.
That's the other thing. The Frogman in this is obviously this really ridiculous looking puppet they use.
Yeah. It's like it's either a puppet or a guy in a suit, depending.
And I guarantee it probably doesn't look nearly as good if it was like crisp HD video.
Oh, fuck no.
But because they're using his old childhood camera, it sells it.
Yeah.
It hides any of the flaws.
Yeah. They knew what they did have and they knew what they didn't have.
That's one of the conceits of the movie that I think actually makes this movie work better than a lot of found footage movies is that because he commits to using his old camera from his childhood, it allows the movie to have more seams hidden.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of found footage movies these days will use highest end HD cameras.
Yeah.
And like pretend it's like an iPhone.
Yeah, like
which already looks pretty crisp.
Yeah. You know, like Afflicted.
Yeah, exactly.
Afflicted, you could tell was like professionally shot.
That movie worked.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great
it.
movie, but still.
But I think for this movie with their low budget, having the grainier footage and that 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah. The shot on Shitio.
Yeah.
You know?
Just made the movie work even better.
This is a really good shot on Shitio movie.
Absolutely.
You know?
I did get the vibe kind of like when I first watched Evil Dead for the first time, where it made me want to go out and make a movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Man.
Frogman, ask for it by name. I promise you, this is a movie that delivers, especially if you, like us, were as disappointed with stuff like Outwaters.
Yeah.
This movie delivers in a way those movies don't. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Oh, you can find me here on YouTube on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I stream starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Roughly. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, I stream on Twitch, and I usually play video games or do other random things like sculpt or write. Well, I've talked about me. What about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, then be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. And if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag AmyDoesDallas. Use the hashtag AmyDoesDallas. That way I know. That way Jack knows. That way the whole world knows that you watched this video all the way through and you know Amy and Dallas's little secret in the movie.
Frogman!
Riveting up and down. He gets the ladies too with his magic wand. Oh yeah, you know what I mean by magic wand. The sparkles come out because that's where the fun is. He is Frogman!